Ladies and gentlemen, Colonel Thomas Hustead. Had a big smile when that guidon went. I saw YR and said, it's time. Big smile. Colonel Terza stole all my words, so I'm going to say it anyway because I'm proud of the organization. Distinguished partner national military representatives, fellow commanders, command sergeants major, distinguished guests, soldiers, civilians, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, and thank you all for coming. Thank you, Chaplain Meeker, for your wonderful prayer. And thank you, Sergeant First Class Bennett, for being our MC. Particular thanks to my parents who came all the way from New Hampshire, my closest friend Todd. For 24 years, he's been following me around the world. He came all the way from Columbus, Ohio. Thank you. I love the organization. I'm very proud to have served over the last 2 years. I've said goodbyes. I've said what you mean to me. I promised like crazy to keep my emotions in check, unlike the retirement and the farewells, etc. over the last week. But I want to start with a quick story. I had a patient ask to see me in my office, and it's one of those times where you often have patients that ask to see you in your office, and it's not always fun. But she caught me right in the middle of the hallway as I was trying to get out, and I said, sure. And we went and sat down, and I'm waiting for the hammer to fall, and she gushed about the healthcare facility. She said it was the best of her entire career. She said she had never had a provider and nurse team treat her with such compassion. And then she told me a story, and she said it was okay if I shared it. She said she had to go down to launch stool for a procedure. She was scared. She didn't have a connection with the provider. So in the middle of the consent, as they're about to go to the procedure, she said, I want to call my provider at SHAPE. And she did, on her cell phone. And that provider dropped what they were doing and talked to her. And then the nurse got on the line and said, I'll just talk with you until you go into anesthesia. And kept her on the phone because she was going to cancel it. And talked her all the way through till she went into anesthesia. Above and beyond. I don't mention the names because there's countless stories like that at both clinics, SHAPE and Brussels. And it's all of you. I've seen these clinics achieve the highest possible level 3 accreditation for NCQA, and then just a couple months later prepare for and become one of the first patient-centered medical homes in the Army to be accredited by the Joint Commission as well. I watched SHAPE in Brussels go from being, in all honesty, the very worst in tenant unit readiness to being the very best in the USER footprint. I was reminded time and time again of your greatness as inspectors would come into these clinics, and I would hear it over and over. This is the best lab in the European footprint. This is the finest logistics department when it comes to handling contracts and travel cards. And Pat has some of the best practices I've ever seen in Europe. Or even just this week, our EFMP program essentially got 100% on their inspection, which is, they haven't been inspected in 6 years, and the person who did has been ready for them, and it's just amazing. No matter the department, I could name you all, we served each other and we served our patients. Our patient satisfaction scores reached 100%, as Colonel Terza said many times. Just unheard of, at least in my career. And I've been the people they've been talking about, and I haven't been able to get a clinic I was seeing patients into 100%. But Launchville recognizes the #1 medical system, including all of our outlying clinics, for patient satisfaction. And Brussels Clinic, truly one of the shining examples of what the perfect patient-centered clinic should look like. We've partnered with the community in so many ways, with preventive medicine and EDIS travel in the Benelux footprint, making sure everybody throughout the Benelux region was taken care of. PM got on the radio weekly and monthly sent out newsletters to help our community with the importance of prevention and good health. We provided medical coverage for hundreds of SHAPE and Brussels events, which gave their reassurance in the event that if something was going on and they needed someone medical to be there, we were there. Our international flair is inspiring. It is so wonderful to see so many international senior leaders and colleagues here, and I treasured every chance that I had to connect with you over the years. Sir, I remember fondly when you talked about the SHAPE Healthcare Facility as the Dean of the NMRs being the example of NATO, and it still resonates with pride. A hearty thank you to our international clinics and our international providers who we work shoulder to shoulder with. You can certainly tell they send their very best to NATO. A special thank you to the dental clinic for being great partners in the business of medicine and dentistry. Over and over again, I asked you to look left and right and across the formation. How can I make others succeed in what they are doing? Not yourself, but others. Thank you for that selfless approach and creating a culture where people enjoyed coming to work most of the time, feel valued, and able to simply give their best. Thank you to my wife Sherry and kids Brandon, Mackenzie, and Ella for your support and love you've shown me and allowing me to serve this great organization, knowing that everything was stable at home. Thank you, Colonel Elliott, for coming and representing Regional Health Command. It means a lot to me. I'm honored that you're here. Thank you, Colonel Laturza and Command Sergeant Major Charpentier, for your excellent leadership, sir. You created an environment where I felt empowered, trusted, and truly inspired to give you my best. Thank you. No greater gift. Sergeant First Class Promotable Brown. Could not have asked for a finer teammate. You represent everything that is good about being a soldier. And Senior NCO, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart for your undying support, wise counsel, and outstanding leadership. Colonel Summons, YR. I know how talented you are as an officer, and now I know how wonderful you are as a person. I'm confident this unit will continue to thrive and grow under your leadership. I wish you and your family the very best in the next 2 years. Almost done. I started this ride 2 years ago telling you about a saying I learned as a cadet, and I'm a repetitive kind of person. Just keep repeating it until it sinks in. And I talked about a song from West Point called The Corps. The song is about the heritage of the long gray line of cadets. The term grip hands is repeated often in the song as a sign of solidarity for those past, present, and future. We have had some times when we definitely had to grip hands, and I am proud to have been a part of it with you now, and I remain a part of that solidarity as one in the past. All in all, as my wise old biochemistry teacher used to say with his big fluffy gray beard, it warms the cockles of my heart the way you all came together to provide literally world-class health care to these wonderful communities of SHAPE in Brussels. So I say, grip hands. One team, one purpose, conserving the fighting strength. SHAPE Healthcare Facility in Brussels, Army Health Clinic 6, out.